You got it?
Yep.
I'd like to spend the next 5 minutes convincing you that LOL is a valuable word in the English language. LOL is now in the Oxford English Dictionary. In order to get into the OED, a word has to be cited in multiple sources, it has to be widely used, and it has to have a consistent meaning over time. So it has to go through a process to get into the OED. There are other words the OED is tracking right now. So these words are sort of on deck, and they could end up making it in, they may or may not. So we have twerk. Twerk is being tracked by the OED. This is a cultural word, so things that were happening in our culture brought about the need for the word twerk. Cyber espionage, I like this one. Technology obviously brought about the need for this word. And then we have the word slacktivism, which I didn't know until I started doing this research. That's activism that's really easy because you can just do it online. And I would argue that this is cultural and technological. And LOL, I think this is cultural and technological as well, because the culture, it's the way we speak, so it's cultural, and it's on the computer, which is technological. So culture and technology create words. And I think this is really interesting, because when people talk about the language being dumbed down and language being destroyed, culture and technology are what they cite as the destroyers of language. A good example of this is the pencil. The pencil as we know it was invented by Henry David Thoreau's father. He took this carpentry tool and said, all right, we're going to be doing intellectual work with this pencil. Well, people didn't like that. And then on top of that, he stuck an eraser on it. And people are like, well, that's dumb. It's like, you know, people are going to be sloppy. You're not going to have to pay attention to what you're doing. You can make mistakes and it won't matter. Your brain's going to get soft. I think these are some of the same arguments that people are making about spell check these days. And I don't think the pencil destroyed language. I don't think spell check's going to destroy language either. So LOL sprang from both of these language-making phenomena. I also want to touch on semiotics. So Fernand de Saussure says that people are driven to make meaning, and the way we make meaning is by using symbols. So a written word is a symbol. This is a thing that has meaning attached to it. Utterances are symbols, so the sound coming out of my mouth is something that means something. An action is a symbol, so if you punch somebody, that means you want to hurt them. And we think in symbols, so what we're doing inside our heads is we're taking things and making meaning with them. Saussure says this is a major thing that makes us human. It's very intricately connected to being a human being. The emoticon is a powerful symbol. This is kind of an amazing thing because this is attached to language. This changes what language does. So we have punctuation that changes the way we look at language, but punctuation can't tell you how to think about language. This does. So I can text you, you're stupid, and that could be offensive to you. But if I say, you're stupid, smiley face, emoticon, you know that I'm messing with you. So I'm telling you how to think about that message. It's an amazing development in language if you think about it. And I would say LOL does the same thing. I can text, you're stupid, LOL, and you know that I'm being playful. So in that way, LOL, it means laugh out loud, but I think the way we think of it is, we think of it as that. So LOL is a semiotic symbol that sort of transcends the text and the pictorial representation boundary. The definition of LOL is laugh out loud, but it's also defined as ha ha. And the Oxford English Dictionary says that, I'm quoting here, that ha is a natural utterance in most languages. So that reminds me of Noam Chomsky's idea of universal grammar. Noam Chomsky is the linguist of our time, and he says that human beings create language. And we fall into certain patterns when we make language. And that is what makes us human. So this utterance, ha, is very intricately woven into our DNA. It's what makes us human. And that's also connected to LOL. So to summarize, LOL is a product of culture and technology. It's gone through a process to be an OED. It's connected to ha, which is a deeply embedded human pattern. It's a semiotic symbol that's at once pictorial and textual, and it has a complex meaning that has stayed consistent over time. So, whatever you think of LOL, and no matter how long it stays in the language, you have to admit it's a very complex symbol, and it's making the language richer.